Hey guys, it's Karen with Everyday Home Life, and today for my finance video I am going to be doing how we had a beautiful wedding on a budget. So our wedding was very frugal, very budgeted, but it was also very beautiful, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. It was kind of a destination wedding. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there right now that I do follow and watch that are actually engaged in planning weddings. So really exciting time. My husband and I, we were married in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and it was on August 26, 2010. So this August will be 7 years anniversary. So can't believe it's been that long. But I just want to share with you guys how we had a pretty frugal wedding, how we kept things really inexpensive. The reason why we mainly wanted to keep a low budget for our wedding is to save money. We were both working jobs that weren't paying very much. I think at the time we were making a combined salary of $24,000 a year. So we weren't making a ton of money. We didn't have a lot of savings at that time either. And we just didn't want to go into debt any farther than we were. We had some debt. It wasn't anything extreme, but we just didn't want to go into further debt because of our wedding. So we wanted to keep things very inexpensive, and we knew we wanted to pay cash. So that is the reason why we were really budgeting and really keeping things inexpensive. Pretty much the budget for the wedding was to be $2,000 or under. And we definitely stayed under that. We did pretty well with it. So once we got engaged and I knew that we were going to be planning our wedding, I immediately started researching. I love planning events, parties, trips, anything like that. So I was really excited to start planning for our wedding. So I started researching right away, and I started looking up venues in our hometown, in our area, in Ohio, and started finding that it was very expensive. One thing that I did know I kind of wanted was an outdoor wedding. That was really the only thing. Otherwise, I wasn't picky about anything. But I knew that I wanted an outdoor wedding. So I was looking at venues that allowed for outdoor weddings, and everything just seemed very expensive, like minimum $1,000 for the venue itself, and that really didn't include anything other than the venue. So, it was just really costly, and trying to figure out what to do. And at that time, we had already planned a vacation that we were going to be taking. And my mom kind of came up with the idea of, well, why don't you guys just get married while we're there on vacation in Gatlinburg, Tennessee? So I liked that idea, and I thought that would make for a good outdoor wedding. And I thought I would go ahead and research and see how much the cost would be. I figured it was going to be pretty costly. So that's why I was kind of skeptic of it. But I started researching, and I found a couple options that were actually surprisingly inexpensive. So the place that I found for us, it was, they had different locations that you could get married at, like a chapel and like different areas like by a pond. But anyways, the one that I chose that I really loved the pictures of was a mountaintop wedding. So it was on the very top of a mountain, and it was absolutely beautiful. The pictures were amazing that I seen for it, and I absolutely loved it. So that's kind of how that came about. And once I seen how much the packages were, I was really hooked, because we were already going there, and it was going to be less expensive than having the wedding at one of the venues near us in our town. So it was, for the entire package, it was like $700. And that included like the pastor, the venue of course, and also photography. So all of that was included in $700, and I thought that was pretty reasonable. So my wedding dress, I ended up getting that at David's Bridal. This is one thing that if I would go back and had to redo everything again, this is probably one thing I would change. I loved the dress, absolutely loved it. It was perfect. But it was still a little bit costly for me, and I probably would have just gotten something off of Craigslist, honestly. And but this was, I think the dress was right around $300. So not a horrible amount, but I know I could probably have done it a little bit cheaper than that, but it was a beautiful dress. I just wanted something that was going to be simple but still really pretty, and I think it turned out really nice. So I am happy about the dress, but I know I could have got that a little bit less if I could go back and redo that. So our wedding cake was another item that I probably could have done a little bit cheaper. Going back and having to redo everything, I would probably just done a DIY cake myself. But we ended up going through somebody that we knew, and they did have, they worked at a bake shop, and we had a cake done, and it was a tiered cake, and it was really good. It was excellent. It was really, really good tasting, and it had 3 different like flavors in it, so it was delicious. But I think that one ran $200, and I know I could have done it cheaper if I had done it myself and just done a tiered cake DIY. So that's something that I maybe would have done differently now, but it turned out so well still. So I'm still happy about that. So for our rings, our wedding rings, we ended up going to a couple different stores in the malls, and I picked out a ring that was pretty inexpensive, and then my husband ended up picking out a used ring, so that kept it pretty inexpensive as well. And our rings cost, total combined, it was $450 for our wedding bands. So that wasn't too bad, I think, either. We just kept that inexpensive, and don't know if you'll be able to see, but that is my engagement ring and my band. So it has little diamonds around the band, and I really, really love it. And my husband, he picked out one that was pretty unique actually, and he really likes his too. But both were pretty inexpensive still, so we kept that pretty budget friendly. And then let's see, so our photos were completely free because they were included with our package, and then also our family did take pictures as well. And originally it was only going to be my parents that were coming, and then once, because we didn't think anyone else would be able to come down for it, it was kind of last minute and costly, and we didn't expect anyone to come. But my husband's family, his brother and sister and their family and his dad, they all decided to come too. So that was really nice, but we did have to tell the venue that there was going to be more people than expected, and they did not charge us anything extra, which was really nice for them to do that. So it wasn't a big group. There wasn't very many that came. It was still really like an intimate amount of people, but that was exactly what we wanted. Honestly, my husband and I could have probably eloped and we would have been happy, because we just don't really like people watching us. So it was good that we didn't have a big group of people there anyways, but just the closest family. So our photos were completely free. My sister-in-law took pictures while we were there, and my mom took pictures, and then we also got photography from the venue itself. So, and this is what we ended up getting with our package, and they just included it as a photo book, and then we also got a CD with copies on it. Sorry, that was my phone. And so it's just got like all of our pictures in here. So hopefully you guys can see this. So yeah, it was really nice. And I'll be inserting pictures too, so you can see it better. But that was the photo book that we got from the venue for part of the package deal. So all of the photos were completely free. So another way we saved money, we did not do a bachelor or bachelorette party. We didn't do anything like that. It wasn't something that either of us had any interest in at all. Didn't want to spend any money for that. The only thing that we kind of had was my mom and my sister-in-laws that they did plan out and throw a bridal shower for me, which was really nice. I didn't spend anything for that. They did it completely on their own. It was kind of a surprise thing too for me. So that was really nice, and still got to do that. And we went there and they had games and food, of course, and got some gifts. So that was a really nice shower to have from them. That didn't cost anything for us, so that was nice. And then my husband, he got his tux. He rented the tux. That was just at a rental in downtown Gatlinburg. There was a bridal shop, and they had tux rentals there, and that's what we did. We just picked it up the day before, took it back the day after, and that was only $50 for that. So that was really inexpensive, and it turned out fine. And then for our invites, those were only $10. We did our own invitations. We went out and just purchased some invitation paper, and we just printed those ourselves with a little picture on them with the information. We did not have an actual wedding reception after our wedding, since it was just the closest family. The only thing that we did after, and this is the one thing that I would absolutely change, after our wedding, we ended up just everybody that was there for the wedding, we all went to a buffet restaurant to eat, and that was in Pigeon Forge, and it was awful. The food was terrible. I didn't eat really anything, and everybody else the food was bad. So that is absolutely one thing that I would definitely change, is to go back and just go somewhere different. At that time, we didn't look at reviews. We weren't really looking up on TripAdvisor or on Yelp or anything, so we kind of just picked somewhere that had a buffet, thinking that everybody would find something, and it was just really bad. And if we would have looked at the reviews, we would have seen that the reviews were really bad too. So one thing I would change, but that's all we did after our wedding. We just went out to eat, and then our honeymoon was literally one night. We just had one night left, and we had to get back home and get back to work, so that's all we did. We never took a big honeymoon. We never went anywhere exotic or crazy. It would have been nice to do something like that, but again, we were just saving money and didn't want to add any extra costs in for that. So, but it was fine. We had a really good time, and didn't mind that, and we saved some good money. So when we finally did have our reception, it was 2 weeks after our wedding, and we were back in Ohio. And then this was for everybody and anybody, friends, family, co-workers. We kind of just sent out invites to everybody, and we didn't, that's what we used the invitations for, is we did the invitations for that, for the reception. And we sent those out, and all we did for it, we did a pretty low cost reception. And again, we really like being outside and outdoors, so I wanted an outdoor reception. So we just did something very simple, very casual, and we just had it at a park. And it was a park that wasn't really well known and well used, so it was really private. There wasn't many people around, and they have park shelters, so we just rented a park shelter for free. And they have grills, so we ended up purchasing a whole bunch of hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, just a bunch of items, and like that, just a bunch of cookout items. And we just had a big cookout, and that's what our reception was, and it was really nice. We had cornhole games for the kids. At that time, my husband's nephews were a lot younger and liked doing all that, so we had cornhole set up and just some games for them to play and keep busy. So it was really nice. It was very, very casual. We decorated the shelter and just made it look really nice and decorative. So it was a good time. Really, really enjoyed that. And again, that was very inexpensive, but I wouldn't change anything about that. I wouldn't want to spend a ton of money on a reception. I think it was fine the way it was. So that's what we did for our reception, and family pitched in a lot. My parents helped with a lot of the expenses on some things too, as a wedding gift. They paid for a couple things. And then a lot of my husband's side, they also pitched in with food and different things and just helped out. So it was a really low cost overall for us, and it was just a really nice time. So I have that we spent probably around $50 to $75 on all the food that we had at the reception, and then probably about $50 or less in all the decor. So we got most of any kind of decor for the reception. All that was from either Craigslist, or we borrowed it from family, or we got it at the dollar store. So probably about $50 we spent in decor, and then about $50 to $75 was food for the reception. And I know I showed the other album that we actually got from the venue package itself, but this one is the one that I did for us. So I had picked up this album, And these large pictures was actually from the venue. We got, with the package deal that we got like 3 this kind of size pictures, and then that CD and that book. So this was the one that I did, and this was just all pictures that was taken by my mom, by me, or by other family members. So that's how I did that. I just kind of filled that up. And I've got our wedding in here, and then after our wedding too, I didn't mention this, but after our wedding we ended up going to a few places in Gatlinburg that we knew about that was just good spots for taking pictures. So like one of the spots, let me find it in here, there was a spot that had like a bridge, and that was really nice to take pictures by. And then also, if you've been to Gatlinburg, they have the Great Smoky Mountain National Park sign, so we took our pictures by that. And then after the wedding pictures, I have pictures in here also from a reception. And then I also have, I think, and then I just have some of me in my dress, so. So that's what I did as far as pictures. Just have this album and then the other album, and then of course we have a whole bunch of them just saved on a flash drive now. So that's what we did. That was it for pictures, and I think they turned out fine. I really liked a lot of the pictures. So no issues with pictures. So the total with everything I have here, let's see, so the wedding was $700 for the venue, tux was $50, dress was $300, rings were $450, reception was, I'm going to say $100, decor, miscellaneous items was $50, and our cake was $200. So total with everything was $1,850, give or take a little bit. I don't remember the exact totals on everything, but I kind of estimate a little bit higher. So yeah, we definitely stayed under the $2,000 mark of our budget, and I think we did really well, and I absolutely loved it. There's, just a few little things that I would maybe change, but overall it was perfect. The venue was perfect. I wouldn't change anything with that. And also the venue that we went through, they were amazing. They did such a good job. They were so nice. And everything just went so smoothly, so no issues with them. If you're interested in the name of the company that we went through for the venue, you can definitely send me a message, and I'll let you know what that was. But definitely would recommend them. So I just wanted to share our story about our wedding and how we kept things frugal and on budget and didn't go into debt. I'm just amazed by seeing somewhere online, I'd seen that the average wedding is now costing $15,000, and I'm just amazed how much money people can spend on a wedding. And if you have the money and you really want to do it, then that's fine, but I personally just would rather use that money for other things. It's just, I don't think anyone should ever feel pressured. Definitely don't feel pressured into spending a lot of money on a wedding, or feeling like you have to spend a lot of money, that it's going to show like how much you love each other, anything like that. And just keep in mind that the most important part of your marriage is not your wedding day. It's all the days after. So it goes by so fast. This one day, it goes by extremely fast, and you just want to do something special, make it special, but just don't go overboard. Don't go into debt for it. And just remember, it goes by so fast. Like I said, it was 7 years ago almost that we got married, and I can't believe how fast it's gone and how fast it's going. So one day, and you don't want to have tons of debt you're paying for years after. Don't do that. But that's just my personal opinion. That's my advice for it. I don't think you have to spend a fortune to have a beautiful, wonderful, memorable wedding. And it can be very special without spending a lot of money. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe I gave you some ideas. Let me know if you are planning a wedding, or if you had your wedding, and let me know what you did for it. I'd love to hear about it. So let me know in the comments below and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys again soon in the next video. Bye guys.